Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, guys, I'm a little late. Okay, let me know that y'all can hear me. No, bro. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go. Yes, sir. Let's get the likes up, fellas. All right, let's go over some of the weather stuff. So before we get started, see, let me do my intro, guys. Sorry, but get the likes up. Let's subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. You're not going to see this type of content anywhere else. So no, with no further ado, let's begin. Um. Okay, so let me go over some of these weather games, guys. This is important. All right. So a couple of games that I think we need to pay attention to. First game is going to be the Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they at Buffalo. And Buffalo is an outside game, and they saying it's a chance of snow showers. It's 35 degrees, but this is the thing: it's 20 miles per hour of wind. So if you got the kicker like Matt Prater or the Tampa Bay kicker, you need to pay attention to that. That's strong winds. I think the passing game could be bad in this game. 20 miles per hour wind is pretty good wind. Now, I'm not telling you to sit Ibuka. I'm not telling you to sit Baker Mayfield. I'm not telling you to sit Josh Allen. That, but Keon Coleman is a healthy scratch. So if you have a Keon Coleman, do not play him. I know I've had him in my stars of the week, but I had no clue that they was going to healthy scratch him. This is terrible for Keon Coleman. He's probably going to get traded. So connecting is really bad. Okay, sorry about that. Clearing up. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Let's see what's the next game. Another game is going to be the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants, and it's a slight chance of rain showers, but it's 17 miles per hour wind. So they're making me nervous about Jameis Winston. Wan'Dale Robinson, I'm not telling you to sit him, but I'm getting nervous. Also Jordan Love. So I think this is going to be a running back game, right? I think this is going to be a Josh Jacobs, Tyrone Trace, and Devin Singletary type game. A lot of throws close to the line of scrimmage. Maybe Wan'Dale Robinson can still get his value as a full PPR guy. And that's the only really thing that I think we should be worried about. Another high win game is going to be the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. The other games, they in dorm, so we're not going to talk about that. But the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns, 22 miles per hour wind. So I'm still starting Lamar, but we have to be aware of that. The passing game could be hurt. So if you want to take out Zay Flowers and put somebody else in that is a good player, that's fine. Me, I'm still going to play Zay. That's me personally. But that has nothing to do with that 22 miles per hour wind. That makes me nervous. But now listen, that game is at 425. That wind could have died down by that time. So I just want you to know that. Other than that, the rest of the game should be fine. So the Cincinnati Pittsburgh game, be aware of that. That's high wind. That's 19 miles per hour wind. The Green Bay game, the New York Giants, and the Tampa Bay and Buffalo game. So just pay attention to those games. All right. Let's go with a little bit of news. Let's go with a little bit of news. Keon Coleman. We said that already. He's a healthy scratch. Let me read what the news says. The Bills are expected to make Coleman a healthy inactive for Sunday game against the Buccaneers. NFL reporter Jordan Schultz reports the Buffalo decision to elevate Gabe Davis from the practice squad and sign Mecole Hardman to the 53-man roster Saturday were likely the indicators that the team was planning on shaking up its receiver personnel for Week 11. And Coleman looks like he'll be the only odd man out, which is weird. Y'all drafted this guy in the second round. According to Schultz, Coleman's in the impending demotion isn't based on his performance, though the second-year wideout underwhelming production in recent weeks, as well as a return for Joshua Palmer from a three-game absence, probably didn't help his case to retain a regular role for this offense. So, if you got Keon Coleman, it doesn't look good. Jackson Dart, when he returns next week, they said he's not going to be running the ball, so I wouldn't play Jackson Dart for the rest of the season. Because I don't think this is going to be a high volume passing game type. I think he needs his rushing upside to be a great fantasy player for this year. So I would pivot off Jackson Dart and stash somebody else. Travis Hunter is set to remain a two-way player in 2026. He is still set to be a two-way player. So I know a lot of us thinking that he was going to go straight to the offense or straight to the defense. No, he still wants to play both sides. Quentin Johnson will be playing today. He's going to suit up. So if everybody was worried about him, he's playing. But Brian Thomas is out. Brian Thomas from the Jacksonville Jaguars is out. And C.J. Stroud, guys, return for Week 12 is still in doubt. So it looks like he's struggling through that concussion. So you're probably going to have to play Davis Mills one more time. Bam Knight from the Arizona Cardinals will be suiting up today. So it looks like it's going to be DeMarcado and Bam Knight. So if you got DeMarcado, you might want to pivot. Devontae Adams is playing today. Drake London is playing today. And Calvin Ridley to return today. Calvin Ridley is expected to return today. Donovan Wilson, the safety for the Cowboys, is returning today, but that's not no big thing. We about J.K. Dobbins that he's on IR. He's going to miss the rest of the season. And we know that Gabe Davis is also playing today, elevated from the practice squad. And I think that's it. Sam Laporta, he's on IR. So if you got Sam Laporta, you're going to have to find you another tight end. Okay, guys, I think that's about it for the news. Let's go. Let's do prop bets. Let's do a prop bet before we get started. Let's do some prop bets before we get started. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see you, Sports Dog. I see you, MVM. I see you, Big Will. I see you, Arthur Myers. I see you, Kuma. Why is it not bringing up my props? Okay. Guys, we're going to move on because it's not bringing up my prop. So I'm not going to keep here waiting on the internet. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to keep it moving here. All right. So let's get to these questions. Sports Dog. He says TD 100, week 11 is fine, but I like to add a handcuff for CMC. Who do I drop? Vidal, Shakir, Jones, Johnson, Shaheed, Stevenson, Pickens, J-Mo, or Warren? This is a very tough call for me. Help. I probably would drop Shakir or Johnson, QJ, or Stevenson. So those are my three suggestions. It would be Shakir, QJ, or Stevenson. Probably Stevenson, knowing that Travion Henderson has broke out, played really well. So I probably would do Stevenson myself. Ice Cold Jones said, "What's up, bro? Do I start Jameson Williams? Is that Javonte or Jameson? Vidal or Higgins in the flex? So you start Higgins in the flex over Vidal. I'm going with Higgins in the flex over Vidal. I like Vidal, but Higgins, man, has a really nice matchup with Joe Flacco throwing him the ball. If that's Javonte Williams, yes, you start Javonte Williams. If that's Jameson Williams, yes, start Jameson Williams. So Javonte and Jameson Williams are stars today. Ice Cold Jones says Devontae Smith Higgins. I'm going with Higgins over Devontae Smith. Both are stars, but I like Higgins' matchup a little bit better. MVM says, good morning, TD. Flacco or Stafford? I'm going with Flacco over Stafford. Vidal, Harvey, Judkins, Kittle. Please pick two. I'm going with Kittle and Harvey. Judkins has a tough matchup. Vidal matchup is a little tough. The Jacksonville Jaguars do stop the run. But I think that can be had. But Harvey, I'm going to go with Harvey with the PPR points. I think he can get his points by PPR. He's going to catch a lot more passes than he's been catching in the past. So we're going to go with Harvey, and we're going to go with Kittle. Big Will says Keon Coleman is out today, according to the Fantasy Pros. Yes, he is. All right. Hopefully the everything cleared up. Arthur Meyer says TD full PPR, Kamani Vidal or Woody Marks. We're going with Woody Marks. Woody Marks got such a really great matchup, man, against the Tennessee Titans. So we're going to go with Woody Marks. He says, I started Travion Henderson already and starting Jelly Warren. Okay, yes, we're going with Woody Marks. Ryan, what's up? Ryan says, good morning. Standard, my opponent has Herbert today. Okay, is it a good move to play both Keenan Allen and Gaddison? Or should I play Harvey or Addison? You should play Harvey. So you I don't know where you got Gaddison in. If you got him in as a tight end, that's fine. Addison is a great tight end to have, but you need to play Harvey over Addison. I would play Harvey over Addison or Keenan Allen. You're gonna have to pick which one you want to put back in. If you need another start with Harvey, I probably will go with Keenan Allen over Addison. That's just me. And yes, start Kansas City defense today. Start Kansas City defense today against the Denver Broncos. What's crack? Profit Pitts. Intelligente says, got to be something off field going on here with Keon Coleman, right? Something's going on. Soldier says, good afternoon, handsome. Thank you. Kuma says, good morning, bro. Good morning. Prophet says, Keon footwork needs work. Hardly see him get separation beside comeback routes, right? He's a jump ball guy. Hennessy Black says, pick up Buffalo tight ends. Yup. He's got to throw to somebody, right? Dawson Knox and, Jackson Halls? Is that his name? Tron says, ESPN reported that the Cowboys have a 9% chance to make the playoffs. Must win for them tomorrow. Yes, sir. What's going on, Gabriel? What's up, bruh? Hennessy Black says, Jackson Halls the play. Dawson Knox, Fanning Jr. still a good play with win? Yes, because he's closer to the line of scrimmage. He gets a lot of manufactured targets near the line of scrimmage, which the wind is not going to control those balls as much. So I would play Fanning over Dawson Knox and Jackson Halls. Gabriel says, TD, would you start Hunt or Sean Tucker? I would start Hunt for a goal line touchdown. I would start Hunt. And Kelsey or Goddard. I would start Kelsey over Goddard. Kuma says, let's go 49ers. Ice Cold, okay, Javonte. Yes, so start Javonte. Javonte is a star. He always a star when you're playing against the Cowboys or you got the Cowboys. Yeah, it's going to block. Something, I got a big head, bruh. So, pause. So, something's going to block it. Even if I had something in the back and I was bald-headed. My bald head would still be blocking something. But appreciate it. Frank says, if Adams can't go, Pearsall, Parker, Washington. Adams is a go. Adams is playing today, Frank. Adams is playing. So we're not going to plug anybody else in. We're going to play Adams. Devontae Adams is playing today. Hennessy Black says, Vidal, ETN. I'm going to go with... I'm going with Vidal over ETN. Mr. G says even if Shadura even starts this season, his play style doesn't mesh well with Kevin Stefanski. Listen, somebody, I'm gonna go on a tangent a little bit. I heard somebody on a YouTube channel say, "What if Deshaun Watson is still him and Kevin Stefanski has messed up Deshaun Watson just like Baker Mayfield?" Remember, Baker Mayfield struggled with Kevin the last year, so maybe it's something with Kevin's system. All right. So maybe if Deshaun Watson gets another opportunity, he could go back to being Deshaun Watson. It could be something with the system. So what you're saying, man, might have some validity. Hennessy Black says, how do you feel about Cooper Kupp? Play him over Flowers if weather's bad? No, I wouldn't play Cooper Kupp over, not since they brought in Rashid Shaheed. So I would play Flowers over Cooper Kupp. Okay, so this is another thing. I'm about to do the picks of the week for all the games. I'm about to do all the games. Okay. So the game already started, but I was going to pick the Dolphins. I'm picking the Vikings. Wait a minute. Who am I picking against the Bears and the Vikings? I'm taking the Vikings over the Bears. I'm taking the Panthers over the Falcons. I'm taking the Steelers over the Bengals. I'm taking the Chargers over Jacksonville. I'm taking the Packers over the Giants. I'm taking the Texans over the Titans. I'm taking the Bills over the Buccaneers. I'm taking the Rams over the Seahawks. I'm taking the 49ers over the Cardinals. I'm taking the Ravens over the Browns. And I'm taking the Chiefs over the Broncos. The Lions over the Eagles. And the Cowboys over the Raiders. Let's go through a little bit about far as the game script. So Bears and Vikings. The reason why I'm picking the Vikings, I believe that Brian Flores is going to blitz the Bears a lot. He's going to speed up Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is going to have a couple of turnovers. I expect a low-scoring game. And I'm going with the Vikings. So to me, who's fantasy valuable? I think Justin Jefferson gets his targets. You have to play him. He's going to get his targets. How efficient, how many touchdowns comes with it, we don't know. We know it's JJ McCarthy about that. So Justin Jefferson is a start. I would not play Jordan Mason, but I would play Aaron Jones to catch passes out of the backfield and hopefully have a big play or two. Jordan Addison, I don't know if I would play him. Depends on what type of players I have. Bears, I like Colston Loveland. I think he's a good play. And I think you have to play Rome Odunze. And Luther Burton is up. It depends on what type of league you're in. If you're in a deep league, you can play Luther Burton. But if you're not, I wouldn't play him. If you're in a 12-team league or less, I wouldn't play Luther Burton. Let's see here. Intelligente says, with the changes Dallas made and the guys coming back from the injury, do you like the DST versus the Raiders? I do. But I do think the Raiders can put up at least 14 to 17 points. I think they scored 2 touchdowns. So depending on your league scoring, how y'all score with your DST, I would make my play through that way. All right. Ice Cold Jones says, Bam Knight or Chase Brown? We're going with Chase Brown. Kale says, I started Travion Henderson. CMC is my RB2 in Superflex. My quarterbacks are Love and Hurts. Would you risk it and start Jalen Warren over Love? Yes, with the news for the weather of the game, I'm okay with that. He has a great matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. I get it. Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. I love the science to your math. You showing your work there. Aaron Holloway, what's up, bro? He says, seems like Chris Robinson is the new RB1 for the Commanders. Right. That's why we faded Bill. Ice Cold Jones says, Bo Nix or Golf? I'm going with Golf all day. Okay. So let's go to the Panthers and Falcons game. You got to play Drake London. Yeah, he does have a tough matchup with Horn. I think Horn is a good corner for Drake London, but Drake London has to be a start. You starting Drake London. Bijan makes me nervous. We're not going to sit Bijan, but it makes me nervous. I don't like playing. I'm trying to trade Bijan Robinson. I don't like the way they playing him. I believe the Panthers win the game because they control the line of scrimmage, and I think Horn holds Drake London from going crazy. and they can win this game. The passing game, I don't know who to trust off the Panthers, other than I'm just playing Rico Dowdle. Ted, I don't know. Xavier Leggett, any of these guys, I don't know nothing about as far as how they're going to produce today. But I do like Rico Dowdle. For the Falcons, like I said, I think Kyle Pitts is a solid play for the tight end. I think Drake London is a must start. And B. John Robinson is a must start, of course. And if you need to play Algier, why not? He's sniping B. John touchdowns. Hennessy Black says Caleb or JJ McCarthy. I'm gonna go with Caleb over JJ McCarthy. I think with now, if you turnovers kill your quarterback scoring, then maybe you go with JJ. But I still think Caleb can throw for 2 touchdowns and maybe have 2 turnovers. But I'm not playing JJ McCarthy over Caleb Williams. JJ McCarthy is outside of my top 14 quarterbacks this week. So I would play Caleb, the lesser of the 2 evils. Not saying Caleb is a bad start this week. I just think Brian Flores comes up with a good defensive plan to keep Caleb for winning the game. That doesn't mean that he's going to have 230, 250 yards with 2 TDs. B. Growing or 1 TD and 1 rushing TD. B. Growing says Michael Wilson or Keenan Allen, also Mark Andrews or Cade Otton. I'm going with Cade Otton over Mark Andrews, and I'm going with Michael Wilson over Keenan Allen. Tron says Debo having a great game. Okay, good shit, good shit. I got Debo in the lead. I probably should have went live a little bit earlier, but now we don't have any more overseas games, so it probably won't matter anymore. But just get through a couple more of these games, and then if we don't have any more questions, guys, we'll get out of here. But let me go to the Bengals and Steelers game. I love DK Metcalf. I think he's going to have a boom game today against the Cincinnati Bengals. I like Jalen Warren. He's a solid start. Aaron Rodgers is a solid start. Now, listen, be careful about the weather. They say the weather is a little bit crazy there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I still like Aaron Rodgers. He has a great matchup. I love Joe Flacco. He has a good matchup. Far as the Bengals, you know who's going to Chase Brown, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, and Joe Flacco. That's easy. I like Pat Freiermuth if I need to start a tight end, and I like DK Metcalf if I need to start a wide receiver in Jalen Warren. Big Will said, do you think Purdy will be rusty his first game back? Yes, a little bit. I do think he will be rusty. Maybe he gets going later on. Ice Coast says, Stevie, who's your dark horse team to get to the playoff this season? That's a good one. It was the Panthers. It was the Panthers, but let me look real quick. Let me keep looking. I say the Panthers or the Cowboys. Those are my dark horse teams to make the playoffs. Mr. G says, looks like Rodriguez taking Jacory's job. Yes. That's why we didn't play Jacory. Nobody was playing Corey this week. Kale said, would you pivot from McPherson and start Santos at Minnesota? Yes. Because of the weather. Yes, I would. King Sirius says, Henry needs a touchdown versus the Browns. I don't think he rushes over 100 yards. He might not, but we don't know. It just depends on game script, man. When you got Lamar Jackson, you never know what a person can do, right? Because that defense can't play the same way. Now, if it was like a regular pocket passing quarterback, I was like, hell yeah, they probably gonna shut down that run because Cleveland can do that. But you got Lamar Jackson, so all Derrick Henry needs is a one good lane one time because you worried about Lamar, and there you go. Or he throw a screen to Lamar, they blitz Lamar, and they throw a screen to Derrick Henry. He takes off for 70. So that's why I play my studs when it comes to certain teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you got an elite quarterback, I'm going to play my studs. Joe Flacco with Jamar Chase them. I'm going to play my studs when you have a force multiplier out there. Right now, Joe Flacco is a force multiplier for that team. He's getting everybody into their game script, as far as with Chase Brown, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. So Henry should be fine today, no matter how he get it. If he have less than 100 yards, I'm banking on him to get a touchdown. Let's see here. Chargers, Jaguars. I expect the Chargers to dominate them. Jaguars have no wide receivers other than Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers. I think the Chargers hit them in the mouth and beat them by 2 touchdowns. I think the Packers got to be careful. This could be a trap game for them, but hopefully their defense comes to play and they can sack Jameis Winston a couple times and force him to get some turnovers. The Giants, the only player that I feel good about playing for the Giants is probably Tyrone Tracy and Wan'Dale Robinson. Texans and Titans. Let's see. Sports Dog says TD 100. I'm keeping May just because if Jackson goes down, I have a solid backup, and I don't want to face him if I let him go. What D would you use for the rest of the season? It just depends, man. It depends on I don't know what's out there, bro. I don't know what defenses you got out there. I do like Kansas City rest of the season. I do like Houston Texans for the rest of the season. Just off top of the dome. I do think Tampa Bay, after this week, Tampa Bay has good matchups. They got like 6 good matchups in a row. So Tampa Bay is a sneaky defense too. Arthur says, Scary Terry on waivers, is he worth a pickup? Yes. Okay, you in a 3 wide receiver? Yes. Pick him up and stash him in case he comes back. He says, I'm in a 3 wide receiver set. CD Lamb, Stephon Diggs, Tech McMillan, and Khalil Shakir, half PPR. Yes, pick him up and stash him, Arthur. Kale says Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Parker Washington, and a PPR. Pick one. We're going with Ricky Pearsall over Parker Washington and Sutton. Kale says Dobbs, Addison, or J-Mo. J-Mo. We're going with J-Mo. Holy Inspiration says, are you stashing Gabe Davis? No. No. I'll play him and pick him up off waivers if I need to, but I'm not going to hold my bench spot with Gabe Davis. Stacy says, hey, Sugar, pick 2. Michael Carter, Vidal, Keenan Allen, or Wan'Dale. We're going with Vidal and Wan'Dale Robinson. We're going with Vidal and Wan'Dale Robinson. She said, that's what I had. Just wanted your opinion. Laugh out loud. Thank you. Anytime. Anytime. All right, guys. Well, I guess we're going to get out of here. It's not that many people in the chat today. So, I come here for the stars and sits. I'm not going to sit on here. I figured everybody would be watching the game. I wanted to watch the game, but I had to get ready for this live and deal with some drama. Well, all right, guys, y'all be safe. I'll catch y'all later. Yes, sir, Big Will, anytime. Y'all be safe. Peace. Okay, hold up. Super chat. Thomas says, what up, TD? Is there a world where you would consider flexing Harvey over Rome? Yes, there is a world that I would consider that, depending on the team. I can see Harvey getting more touches than Rome receiving work. I agree with that. Yes, especially with the Minnesota game, that I think Minnesota can win this game. Yes, I agree with that. That is a world. There's nothing wrong with that, bro. You got a rhyme and a reason to do that. I always tell y'all, go with your gut. A lot of these decisions can go either way. It's how you feel. And you ain't playing nobody crazy. You ain't sitting nobody crazy. Now, listen, Rome is not a sit. But if you get in an 8-team league, Thomas, you got a bunch of talent, which I know your team, you have a bunch of talent on your team. I'm not going to say that's crazy making that move. You're going to the running back. The running back is always a better play than a wide receiver when it's all equal, because the running back can get 1-yard touchdowns. Usually wide receivers don't get 1-yard touchdowns. They don't get 3 touchdowns like a Jonathan Taylor, right? So you usually want to go to the running back. So I don't think that's crazy with all the talent that you have on your team. Kuma says, stay up. Yes, sir. Thomas says, I want to play Harvey so bad. Right. it's my team that posted in the Discord. Right, right. Thomas says my opinions are JSN, Ibuka, London, Rome, Barkley, Dowdle, Harvey, sit one. It would be like you said, man. It would probably be Rome. It's between Rome and Harvey. You can't sit Ibuka. You can't sit London. You can't sit Dowdle. It's gonna be between Harvey and Rome. So if you want to sit Rome, yeah. Aaron Holloway said it too, guys. In the chat, let him know who should he sit. Who should he sit? I'm gonna say if he like Harvey, okay. Thomas says he wants to sit Harvey. Oh, he's saying Harvey. Okay, he's hyped for Harvey. Okay. Appreciate the super chat too, Thomas. All right, guys. See y'all later.